What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Palm City Chucks. We got college football for you. We did miss last week, had crazy life things happen, but we're back and we're excited to be here. But we're not going to live in the past too much. We're not going to, go through week six picks and all that. I mean, we may sprinkle it in as we go, but we're not going to go in-depth recaps of week five. So. Hopefully you watched and you formulated your own damn recap instead of counting on us. Let's get into the week six recap here. We're gonna start with West Virginia taking on 23 ranked BYU. BYU pulled this one off 38-24. One we both had here. There was only one difference this week, which we'll get into. Um, but yeah, BYU looks decent. They haven't really played anybody too spectacular yet, though. So I don't really know what to make of them as far as the big picture goes. But, putting up 38, definitely nice.
No, that's true. I agree. They haven't played anybody yet, but they're winning all the games that they should, and the same can't be said for other teams throughout college, and we'll get to some
Yeah,
of them
that's true.
some of them later. So BYU is doing the job, and I don't think there's anything to complain about with them so far. I think they're going to start getting tested. We'll talk about this later, but coming up against Arizona this week, that's not a nothing burger. Arizona's not ranked, but it's certainly not a nothing burger. So I'm excited to see what they can do once they start playing some tougher competition down the road. It's not a team that I expect to sneak into the playoff by any means. I think they will drop a game or two here, and they're not. I don't think they make the top 12. But, for BYU, this is not bad at all.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, there's something to be said for not dropping the bag. And especially in college. I mean, we say it all the time, but these are children playing high stakes games, so it's pretty cool when you can be consistent and get the job done when you should. So kudos to BYU. West Virginia, don't got much to say about you. This is kind of what you are. um, but yeah, let's. They had they had Geno Smith, didn't they? Yeah. So that was probably the last time they were competent, but yeah, it's like I may be wrong too, but I'm pretty sure it's like a wild party school. Like they're not really,
But yeah, I mean, come on,
focused on
Morgantown.
academics
Yeah,
or
yeah,
or
Morgantown, bro.
sports. They're just, yeah, worried about getting shoshed, which,
They have country
that
roads,
works
though.
too.
I'll give them that. Pretty elite. I will give them that.
I think they want a little more than that, but they'll have to settle. Um, let's move on to a humdinger, a banger, an SEC matchup. 16 ranked Vanderbilt took on 10 ranked Alabama here. We both went Bama. I'm sure, again, sucks we couldn't get an episode out last week, but I'm sure we both felt a little temptation to go Vandy here. But we stayed true to Bama, and it worked out for us. They pulled it off 30-14. Um, I feel like this game appeared to be closer than that, and in the end, Bama just kind of pulled it out.
No, I agree. To your point, I was very tempted to go Vanderbilt here. I mean,
Yeah,
Vanderbilt last year goes and takes down Bama when they're certainly not the team that they are this year.
yeah,
Look, but in the end, it came back to one I thought about revenge game, and Bama's looked a lot better in recent weeks since their week one thrashing against Florida State. So I had to go Bama in the end, but honestly, Vandy had a chance to put Bama in a really tough position early on. They were up 7-0 driving, I think it was, and probably their quarterback he just couldn't get it done. He talked the talk before this game, before going to
yeah.
Bama, but he did not walk the walk when it came down to it. A couple red zone mistakes really put them in a bad spot when they could have put themselves in a really good spot. Just real reversal there. Unfortunate for Vandy. I still think they're going to be a quality team down the line here. They've certainly already exceeded expectations, in my opinion. I don't think there's any disputing that. I did not think they would be a ranked team at any point this year, and here they were.
16 too, not shabby. Yeah, I don't remember. I think they
Yeah,
might be
that's
on
that's.
bye though.
I think they are. I think you're correct. But either way, I mean, they're impressing. I'm curious to see what they do the rest of the way.
Yeah, definitely. And to your point about, the crap talking pregame, I mean, kids out there, you should be confident. Confidence is good. Don't open the door for karma, man, because karma's a bitch. Don't do it. And don't be, overly cocky, but, confidence good to have, but know what you're going against. I mean, I'd be curious to see what teams have beat Bama in back-to-back years in recent history, because I'd be shocked if there's like any.
The only
Um,
possible team is probably like Georgia. I don't even think
yeah,
that's happened. So
yeah. They typically don't play in the regular season, so they have to meet an SEC championship game, and then, yeah, which, you're not shoot in the SEC, that's for sure. But yeah, regardless, know who you're going against. Don't open the door for karma. Let's move on. We got Kentucky taking on 12 ranked Georgia, more SEC fun, except this one wasn't so fun for Kentucky. They dropped this one 35-14. What do we think of this? Do we think Georgia's Georgia? I mean, sitting here at 12 this far in the season, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're not the Georgia we've witnessed the last handful of years, and I don't know.
I agree. I think they're a good college football team, but I don't think to the way you phrase it that Georgia is Georgia per
Yeah.
se. I don't think they're quite at that level. I think there are honestly multiple teams in the SEC alone that are probably better than them in my opinion right now, but they're certainly no slouch. And I won't be
Yeah.
surprised if they make the playoff and win a game or two in the playoffs. I don't see this being a year where there's a chance for them to make a run to the chip and win the chip or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
think they're still a very quality college football team. And on the Kentucky side, they've got to expect this. They're a basketball school. They've been a basketball school for a very, very long time,
Yeah.
minus Will Levis years. That's pretty much it. That's what they got.
Yeah. Yeah, they're happy to hang, honestly, and I feel like they should be. It's a tough conference, so. But yeah, let's move on to a not so pretty one. Number one ranked Ohio State took on Minnesota, and this was in Ohio State. Kind of said it backwards. But yeah, they won this one 42-3. Gross. I mean, Ohio State's defense is filthy. The offense kind of starting to improve a bit. It could get real scary uh, for honestly the rest of college football because I'm sure we all are tired of Ohio State.
I know I am tired of Ohio State. I
Yeah.
will tell you that, my friend. But this is an expected result here.
Yeah.
Ohio State's at home in the shoe against Minnesota. They never really had a true shot here. And we'll see what Ohio State does the rest of the year. I still can't say that I've watched a game where I was fully convinced by them yet.
Yeah. I
But
will say though, like I don't know if I've ever seen them have a defense this good.
I
And
mean, okay,
their
like
opponents
the
are
downs
kind
of
of
state.
sus to this point, like nothing too spectacular. But even so, like this defense is no joke at all. But yeah, their offense definitely does raise some concern when they get into, elite conference play.
Yeah, yeah, and the amount of elite conference play is certainly decreasing by the week.
Foreshadowing. Uh but not just yet. Let's talk about number 3 ranked Miami going to 18 ranked Florida State. Miami pulls it off 28-22. We both had Miami here, but I certainly wouldn't have been shocked if Florida State pulled this off. They've looked impressive, especially at the quarterback play has been really fun, entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, interesting team. I mean, Florida State's they're in a tough-ish spot now. They've now dropped 2 games. So they've got 2 losses already, so they need to win out to have a chance to get to the playoff. They're probably out of the ACC championship already, though. I would say it's likely. It's looking very much so like, with barring a surprise, Miami versus Georgia Tech ACC championship game. I'd say Miami at this point, barring some insane happenings, is a shoe-in. And
Yeah.
Georgia Tech's schedule the rest of the way is it's pretty easy. Teams that they should beat for sure.
Yeah. As far as
So
their conference play goes, yeah.
yes,
I
as
mean,
far as conference play
they will
goes.
have to play Georgia at some point.
Yes, this is true. But as far as conference play goes, so what matters for getting to the ACC
Yeah.
championship game, which I think we've talked about this before. I would really love to see that change, where the games that are out of conference matter for making it to that. Then maybe teams wouldn't schedule games against. Okay, we've picked on them a lot this year. I feel really bad, but it's just a memorable name, Bethune Cookman. The teams wouldn't schedule games against Bethune Cookman, bro. I'm just saying, make it matter. But anyways. Miami just continues to impress me, honestly. I did not think they were going to be this good of a football team. Carson Beck looks really, really good playing down in the ACC.
Yeah.
I don't know, and at this point, with as good as he's looking, I'm not sure that it's entirely just an ACC thing. That is absolutely helping. That is an easier conference to play football in than the SEC. But I also wonder if there was something else going on at Georgia there, where he just, lost his confidence. Something was going wrong in that last year, because he was terrible his last year at
Yeah.
Georgia. There's no disputing that. But hey, Miami, he is balling. Miami as a team is balling. I think they're gearing up to get a bye in the playoff at this point. They're looking really, really good.
Yeah. They really are. And as you mentioned, it's the whole team. Like last year, we saw Cam Ward have to put this team on his back week after week, miracle comebacks, just craziness. And that is not the case this year. The whole team is really firing, playing really well. And yeah, Beck looks great, much better than he did last year. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I attribute it to. I mean, I'm sure conference play is definitely helping. And yeah, maybe just better coordinator for his style of play. I mean, who knows? But he looks really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Nothing else to add there.
Yeah. Let's go on to a snoozer. Kent State taking on sixth ranked Oklahoma. 44 zip. Oklahoma took this one. Yeah, I mean, I expected a blowout win, but I never really expect a shutout against just about anybody, especially we're talking week 6 at this point. It should be heating up, even if you're playing out of conference. It's not usually, this much of a steamroll, but Oklahoma, credit to them, has looked really good. Yeah.
100% possibility that he's, 100% chance that he's going to be out. Seems like there is at least a chance that he comes back, which would be a very big lift for them in such a rivalry game. But even without, they've done the job. Even if they end up losing this week to Texas, it's only one loss. Get their starting QB back, who's been a big contributor to what they've done so far this year, and they've really exceeded expectations. I think I'd be ready to say at this point that you and I might have been wrong on them specifically at the beginning of the year, saying that they were slightly overrated at their starting
Yeah.
rank, the top 25.
Yeah, yeah, you can safely say that. I was not feeling it at all. We kind of both had the same view with these new teams entering the Big Ten and the SEC. Just like, are they actually ready for this? And Oklahoma's showing they actually are. And yeah, that's a surprise.
Yep, I agree, man. Props. That's all I can say.
Yeah. But let's move on to more SEC fun. We had Mississippi State take on sixth-ranked Texas A&M. A&M took this one 31-9, starting to win a little more convincingly now is A&M. A team that was kind of scraping by earlier this season. And yeah, I mean, now we're heating up into some conference play. Mississippi State, certainly not one of the better teams in the SEC, but still, I wouldn't say they're a joke. And yeah, A&M handles them.
Yeah, A&M at home though. Kyle Field is a really tough place to
Yeah.
play
They get
for
rowdy.
away opponents. They do indeed, and I still think, while, to your point, they have started to win a little more convincingly. I think when they get on the road in some of this SEC play is when they're going to start running into trouble. I think they'll probably remain a ranked team for the rest of the year with the start that they've had, and they do look pretty good overall. But I do think they're going to start taking some losses on when they start getting on the road in SEC play.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're, the top echelons of the SEC this year. And yeah, time's going to tell, and I can't wait. Let's move on. Number 7 ranked Penn State. Take it on UCLA. Final here was 37-42 in UCLA's favor. AJ, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I've been gearing up for this, to be honest, for this entire week since that game ended. Honestly, since halftime of that game, because it wasn't looking good the entire time. So let's take it from the top. UCLA 0-4 coming into this game should be no problem for Penn State, especially coming off a loss to Oregon. You'd think, okay, bounce back week, right? Okay, you got to know what happens. Absolutely not that, let me tell you. And I'm just going to start right here, right now. I told you this before we got on the pod. UCLA had a new offensive coordinator this week. Great. I'm sure that helped a little bit, but for a team like Penn State, that shit should not matter. That should not matter. You should not be giving up 42 points to this UCLA team. It's the first game of the year where I was completely annoyed by the defense as well. The defense had honestly been the bright spot so far this year. It looked consistent. It was good. Held Oregon to 24 points through the first overtime, honestly. So even less than that in regular time. I can't remember quite much, but held them in check. A much better offensive team than this UCLA team. No doubt about that. We go up and let up 42 goddamn points to this team. Are you serious right now? What are we doing? So defense went wrong. That's part one. That was new. That was something new and annoying. Then let's just look at this as a whole thing, right? James Franklin. We're just going to take probably 5 minutes to talk about you, your current and your present and your future with Penn State. So James, he lost the game against Oregon. Whatever. All right. Kind of expected it. Penn State had a genuine shot, but you got to expect that at this point. And, the one loss, whatever, it's not really a problem in the long run, losing to one of the other Big Ten powerhouses. That's whatever. But losing this game this should be the end of your tenure at Penn State. It should. Now, why that's a problem? Why is that a problem? Because Sandy Barber, our old athletic director, decided to sign him to a 10-year, $8 million a year contract in 2021, started in 2022. So we're only in year 4 of that. Okay? So right now, if Penn State were to fire him, the way this contract was structured, they would owe him $56 million, the remainder of the contract. Everything. No, like lesser amount, no nothing. $56 million decreases by $8 million flat every year. So it's not even tiered. It's a flat $8 million a year. What does Penn State do about that? They're in a really tough spot. They really are. You fire them, you pay $56 million, there goes your NIL money. Your NIL money is gone to pay for that, unless somebody on the board wants to step up and try to help cover that. Just literally offer to pay James Franklin to leave. Maybe you go to him and you ask him, hey, would you like to negotiate maybe something that's a little more favorable for both of us? You can go get another job and a full contract somewhere else, because he will. He's brought Penn State to playoffs, semifinals last year. He will get another job. That's going to happen, and it's going to be good paying. It's just that simple. So maybe he's amenable to that. I doubt that. He's got a very cushy job at Penn State right now. They have seriously. Why would he want to leave? Why would he want to do that? So what does Penn State do? Can they even try to make it uncomfortable for him? You can't really do that like you can in the NFL. You can't just make it that uncomfortable. Maybe you try to go after coordinators. And little pause on James Franklin for a moment. They motherfucking should. Andy Kotelnicki needs to go. You are not in Kansas anymore, bro. You have been terrible. Absolutely terrible this year. Casual Penn State fans and people that don't watch Penn State want to blame Drew for this offense. And I get it. If you look at the raw numbers, I guess I understand. If you actually watch the games, Drew is not the problem. In fact, I think he was the best Penn State player in this UCLA Penn State game. I think it was head and shoulders above anybody else on that field on Saturday. Don't even think it was close. Andy Kotelnicki is the problem. The man needs to go, and he needs to go now. At now. So I don't think Drew is amazing by any means, but he is not the problem. The slander he is taking is ridiculous. You're clearly a casual, or you just don't watch the games. It's just that simple. Back to James Franklin and the problem that we have there. I honestly don't know what Penn State's going to do. I don't see them paying that buyout in full. I don't see James Franklin willingly taking less money to leave. I just don't see it happening. And there's so many years left on that contract. We're so early in that. It's just I don't think it's going to happen. There is precedent for it when Texas A&M had the board pay in combination with the school to get Jimbo Fisher out. His buyout was in the 70 millions. So there is precedent for paying a buyout this high to get a coach gone. Now, for Penn State, though, a team that hasn't been this good in a while, maybe they remain okay with 10-2 seasons this season, maybe 9-3. We'll see. Maybe even worse. I honestly don't know what to expect for the rest of the year. I have purposely stopped wearing my Penn State stuff since this Saturday game. At work this week, I made conscious decisions not to wear any of my Penn State hoodies, hats, and I'm so serious. It's embarrassing. It's annoying. It was just completely disappointing. So I'm very curious what they do with this whole James Franklin situation, because that buyout clause it's so unfavorable. Now, what the most Penn State thing in the world would be, and what would keep James's job, and because it would keep the athletic department happy, would be if he goes and wins out this year. In a year that we drop a game to UCLA, super shit team, maybe the worst team in the Big Ten, already lost to Oregon, it would make so much sense, because it would make no sense at all, so classic Penn State, to go and win out the rest of the year, including going and beating Ohio State at the shoe. Now, I'm not saying I think that is going to happen, but I'll be damned, I would not be surprised. They go 10-2 and they sneak into the playoffs at like 10, 11 seed after winning out the rest of the way, because they would. If they win out, they will get into the playoff. It is the exact same mold that Ohio State went in the playoffs and won with last year. They lost to Oregon in the regular season. They lost to Michigan, who was the shit team. So UCLA, Michigan. They did not make the Big Ten championship game, still made the playoffs. So I would not be surprised in the least if Penn State does that and still sneaks into the playoff. It is still a possibility. But you know what? I don't even want that to happen. I am at the point that I want things to get so bad that Penn State has no choice but to get James gone. I'm so serious. I've been calling for it for years. Years. It is so clear he cannot win the big game. He can't even win the little game, apparently. It's so clear. The man needs to get gone. And that is my soapbox on that. Like,
But yeah,
I know that
to
was
your
a bit of a
point, like,
rant.
no, you're good, and it's justified. And to your point, like, you'd hope losing a game like this would be enough to get him gone. But I agree, like, it's probably not. You probably literally need full dumpster fire, drop 3 more this year somehow. Like, like that's the only way, because it's so much money. And you bring up a good point too. It's not like how it used to be, where you're just eating the money for the coach. Like, you have players to pay for now. Like, it makes the money side of this really messy. And also, to another one of your points, Franklin's not gonna want to go. Like, he's just fine where he is. I mean, he's living large, regardless of how Penn State feels about him. But yeah, it's a shame. You hate to see it, and it's like you said, like, they literally will probably beat Ohio State now, like, just because all this horseshit already happened. Because that's just the way it goes for Penn State, and that's really what I'm getting to, is the shame. Because year after year, it's the big game that gets them, or they'll do this shit, and it's like, what are you doing? It's just unreal, and I can't believe it's only freaking year 4. It feels so much longer, and that just shows you how bad of a job he's done.
Well, it's because he's been here since, I think, 2016. is when he started. But the new contract started in 2022. It's the only year 4 of that
Yeah.
10-year, $80 million deal. Like I said, Sandy Barber screwed Penn State football and the board, because the board had to approve that money, to be very clear. So it wasn't just Sandy. I won't totally throw her under the bus, but definitely her idea. Board had
Yeah.
to approve, though. But I mean, you're right. This isn't even on precedent. It's not even always just the big. It's not even just always the big. It's always the big game. Let's be very clear. It is always the big game. But there are also other little games that they screw up. If you look, I think it's. I can't remember exactly what year. I think maybe my junior year of college. So probably
The
5
Illinois.
years ago, something like that. Yes, exactly. Losing to
Yeah.
Illinois at 9 overtimes. What are we doing? Like, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Losing unacceptable games. Absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, you hate to see it. The only other thing that could maybe get him gone, even if you do bounce back, and you probably will, and maybe only drop the one more to Ohio State, but other than that, probably be fine, is if UCLA just continues to suck. I think that could help you too. Like if they literally don't win another Big Ten conference game other than that one, like I think that might sway it enough. Might. But I don't know. I just feel like you're probably stuck with them, and yeah, it's a shame. I know what it's like to have a coach you don't like. I'm living it
Yeah,
too, brother. But I've
I
I've
know.
lived it way less than you have, and you've been living with it for a long time. 2016, it's freaking 9 years.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's so many fans feel this way. I definitely feel stronger and about it than others, and I felt this way longer than most about Franklin. But
Yeah.
it's
Well, and it's
time.
it's
It's
it's kind of like
time.
you said too, with even your OC, like truly understanding the game, truly watching the games. Like it's so easy to blame a player when you freaking go and look at the box score and see the completion percentage was shit or the turnover and all this. But it does come down to coaching a lot of times. Like you have to put these guys in the right position to win. And if you
Yeah, like,
don't, these bad things happen, and yeah, it makes a player look bad, but it's not necessarily all on the player.
and this year especially, this loss was unacceptable. This is the best overall roster Penn State has
Yeah, oh, it's a
had
great team. It's a
in
great team.
Franklin's tenure, for sure, including the Saquon team, including
Yeah.
last year, including all of those.
Yes,
Like, this is
I agree.
easily
And
the
in
best
fact,
roster
like
we've had.
I've always known Penn State is a good team, a solid team, and yeah, I know they dropped the big game and all that, but his like last 10 years or so, I feel like they've been overrated in polls to like start years and even as they're playing. Like even this year, the first few weeks playing nobodies and all that and still being ranked so high. This year I was in full support of that because this roster is that stacked. And
Yeah, I mean,
I
so
never had a
many
problem with the
rookie
ranking
players.
this year. But yeah, it's falling apart. And it's a shame because
But
it really could
it's
have been the year.
like I
Especially
said,
with
I
how we're
want.
seeing like Ohio State, Georgia, Bama, like all these other Clemson, all these teams are playing and they're like, leaving the door wide freaking open and they're
Yeah, it's
just
like I
not
said.
taking it.
It's falling apart. I want the wheels to fall completely off. I want a 90-degree, no, 90-degree, 90-mile-per-hour crash into a brick wall. James Franklin in the driver's seat, dude. That metaphorically, not asking for his death here, to be clear, but like
I know.
metaphorically.
I had to react a certain way to that. That was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. It needs to happen. Because here's the thing. If we do win out, beat Ohio State, you know what we'll do? We'll make the playoff, maybe win the first game, maybe, since we won't play one of the top 4, since they'll get a bye, especially with the way things are working out. Maybe we'll win the first one. Then we'll come up against one of the top 4 and we'll get absolutely thrashed because we can't do anything. Like that's all I'm saying. And I do actually want to expand on this Drew point a little bit because I really feel like he deserves someone in his corner. So let's go back. I know we wouldn't talk a lot about week week 5, but I do want to touch on this quick. So the Oregon game, right? A lot of people wanted to come for Drew on that too. You look at the first 3 quarters when we couldn't do jack shit. We're calling quarterback runs on 2 out of 3 downs. We're not letting Drew throw the ball. What do? We get to the fourth quarter. We actually let Drew start throwing the ball down the field. What do? Score a lot of points, tie up the game, take it to overtime. Exciting. Yes, Drew did throw the game-ending interception in overtime. But you know what? What we say all the time on this podcast, these are kids, and Drew
Mhm.
they just tied it up in the first overtime, took it to second overtime, and they just watched the defense allow a first play touchdown to Oregon. Drew wanted to get that back, and he wanted to get that back too quick. And yes, that was a mistake, but that is absolutely just a young quarterback mistake that you are going to make sometimes. The linebacker came underneath, made a great play on the ball to the tight end streaking down the sideline. Like, you
Yeah.
can't say that
And
it's just a young kid mistake.
right. And you have to live and die by the sword. Like, you can't freaking have the sword in the sheath like the whole freaking game and then pull it out in the fourth quarter and then blame the kid in OT for a mistake. Like, I don't know. It's just it's shit, man. It's just shit.
Yeah, no, Penn State is in the shitter. I'm glad that they're not in the top 25 anymore because, yeah, they dropped all the way out of the top 25, and I'll be damned, they absolutely should have. They should not be a ranked team right now after these past 2 weeks, especially this past week. I'm glad we don't have to pick. I think I would pick against Penn State. I honestly would. Like I said, it's the most Penn State thing to win. They probably will win against Northwestern this week. Boy, I hope so. They don't. Whew. Actually, like I said, I'll be happy. Honestly, I'll be happy. That's the
Yeah.
thing at this
It's a
point. Like,
win-win now.
it is a win-win now. There is no stress from my end, no matter what happens. But I just don't know what to think. It's really, as a Penn State fan, it's hard to continue supporting when you know nothing is going to change. Like, at this point, the proof is in the pudding. James isn't ever going to win us an Natty. We know that. We know that. So to continue to watch a very good, sometimes even great team, like this year I would say is a great team, underperform hurts every year. It's the same thing that I texted all my like college buddies and other people from home, and I'm like, I'm numb to the pain. We're so used to this. Like, we know this feeling. Yeah. But all right, that's it. Let's move on. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
James, you
We'll start
clown.
we can start the healing process again. I know you're numb, but there's still damage. We'll get through it, buddy. Let's go to another team who dropped out. Woohoo. 9 ranked Texas taking on Florida. One we actually had different. I smelled this one in the water, man. I just knew it. Florida, brutal schedule this year. If you haven't, I know I've mentioned it in an episode before because it honestly is just brutal. But if you haven't looked it up, look it up. It's insane. But I knew they were destined to at least get one of these upsets. And I called it on Texas because, I mean, we've seen the inconsistency and the poor quarterback play from Arch. I mean, so yeah. And it worked out. I mean, they won 29-21. And yeah, it was kind of close, but I feel like Florida kept them an arm's length away most of the game.
Yep, no, I agree. It didn't really look like Texas ever had a shot of pulling ahead, even really tying it up. Florida controlled the game, I thought, and we talked about it a little bit before the game when we were, because we did obviously still make our picks and we sent them to each other pregame and all that good stuff. It's like, you thought Texas was just a really bad team and Florida had a tough schedule, which I didn't disagree with the Florida having a tough schedule part, but I really thought that Texas was a little better than complete ass, and I think
Yeah.
they might just actually be complete ass
Yeah.
cheeks.
I'm with you. I really do. Which we'll talk about them this week. They did drop out, but they match up against Oklahoma, which I think you mentioned already. But yeah, we'll talk about them in a little bit. But yeah, they're out of the top 25. Penn State dropped out. I mean, 2 top 10 teams just gone. See ya. And yeah, I would kind of like you said with Penn State. It's deserved here for Texas as well. But let's move on. We have 11 ranked Texas Tech going over to Houston, and Texas Tech pulled it off 35-11. Yeah, I mean, we know this Tech team. I mean, their offense is stupid nice, and defense last few weeks looked pretty good too. I mean, they held Utah. They dominated that game. I mean, I went over that. I was crying about it, but yeah, they dominated that game, and here another game of dominance on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I wasn't sure that their defense would ever pick it up, but it certainly has, and that offense is showing no signs of slowing down at all. I think this is going to be a scary team. Teams do not want to play Texas Tech down the line.
Yeah, very true. But let's move on. We had 14 ranked Iowa State go to Cincinnati. We both went or Iowa State here. I was close to going Cincinnati. I don't know about you because we just kind of shared our picks. We didn't get the hash, but yeah, I was close to doing it and wish I did because Cincinnati pulls it off 38-30.
I also was close to going Cincinnati here. Ultimately went Iowa State, obviously, but Cincinnati popped out to a really big lead early on, and Iowa State needed to claw back into this one, and they did. It was
Yeah,
close. They had a genuine opportunity to go ahead and win this game, but ultimately the lead was just early lead was too much to overcome for Iowa
yeah.
State, and they ended up dropping this one to Cincy.
Yeah, I was amazed at this one. I was watching this one, and then Cincinnati got to a very substantial lead, and I switched the game and everything, and then come back to find out Iowa State almost pulled it off. Like, damn, you just never quit on a game anymore. But yeah, Iowa State, a team we both felt was kind of overranked this year, and they were holding their own and hanging in there week after week, but here it comes crumbling down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's I don't we talked, as you said, overranked. I think it's just that simple. I think we should have trusted our gut on this one and went Cincy here.
Yeah.
I think it's the reality of it. I think we let the AP top 25 ranking get to us.
Yeah, I think so too. It's tough to not. I mean, they do a good job. Yeah, I
God,
say
that
that
sounded so much like
sarcastically.
Donald Trump. Yeah,
Johnny
that's where my
boy,
mind went. Yeah,
that's funny.
Just
I
a
mean,
little
it's
head
something he
nod
would
you did
say.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to purse my lips a little bit, but let's move on. Uh, we have Wisconsin who took on 20 ranked Michigan. Michigan survived it. We both expected this, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, unconvincing from Michigan though. It really was
It
because
always is.
Wisconsin, I know. Wisconsin is a terrible, 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 terrible football team this year, man. They were bad last year. They're even worse this year. Michigan just keeps scraping by, man. I just cannot wait till it blows up in their face. I need that. That's honestly the rest of this college football season is hate watch season for me. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Hey, that's a fun way to do it too, man. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience, in football with that being a Lions fan. So we're just gonna
Yeah.
transfer that down to college.
Yeah. Well, Michigan's certainly on the list, folks. Let's talk about somebody else on the list. 21 ranked Notre Dame. And they were at home. They took on Boise State, pulled it off 28-7. It was close for a while, and then, Notre Dame kind of just put their foot down.
Yeah, unconvincing win from Notre Dame. Especially with how Boise State has looked this year. I mean, getting blown out by USF in game one, haven't, had too many convincing wins the rest of the way. Notre Dame only winning by 21 here. Probably should have done better, but they win, and that's what matters. And looking forward, what's really annoying is that Notre Dame has such an easy schedule the rest of the year. They have 2 losses, but they really don't have a
Yeah.
genuine chance to drop a third game. So they're going to make the playoff because they're conferenceless. It's going to happen. But I would
Yeah.
love a team to take the initiative, give them their third loss, and knock them out. Because if they get 3 losses, they will not make it. I just do not see it happening with the remaining schedule.
Where's Northern Illinois when you need them? But but yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I was just thinking too, like I almost wish it was the end of the season, like right now with how teams are ranked, because all these juggernauts, like I was kind of saying earlier, like just Bama not being what they used to be, Georgia not being Clemson, and like the list just goes on and on. It's getting kinky in college football, and I like it.
No,
But
this has been a weird year.
yeah, but it's so early that I feel like like it's just gonna freaking correct itself to some degree. Like certainly some of the teams I mentioned are out, especially Clemson, my champion. But yeah, it's gonna be a little spicy, but it's real spicy if it ended right now.
That's all right.
But we'll
My
have to wait.
champion is out too now. That would be Texas. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my
Join the
finalist
club. I've
here.
been here since like week 2.
Yeah, I'm finally joining you in week 7. So that's there. We got there eventually.
Survived a little bit. That's pretty good. But let's move on. We had 22 ranked Illinois take on Purdue, some Big Ten action. It's 43-27 Illinois here.
I was pretty surprised by this final score. I'm just gonna say I did not
Yeah,
think
but
Illinois would allow this many
cough up
points to that
27.
Purdue
Yeah,
team. Yeah, really
yeah.
surprised me. Illinois
I,
struggling.
they are, but it does soften the blow a bit when you drop 43 because that's pretty good too.
You know, you're not wrong, but that Indiana game has to be in their head. And how can it not be? They got absolutely demolished. Absolutely demolished. But we'll see. We'll see if they can course correct the rest of the way. I mean, they're still a ranked team, so they got
Yeah,
that going for them.
that's true. Yeah, it's okay if you're still winning and all this weird shit's happening, but yeah, gotta stay on it though. You're quick to fall out when you're playing with life and death in the 20s. Let's move on to the last game of week 6. We had 24 ranked Virginia, newly ranked Virginia this week, and they took on Louisville. And we both went for Virginia to get booted right away out of the top 25. And we were incorrect. They pull it off in overtime with a score of 30-27.
Yeah, I really thought that Louisville was going to win this game. I really did. I hadn't been overly convinced by Virginia. I know they had some good wins recently.
Yeah,
It's escaping me.
they had Florida
Uh,
State.
there it is, Florida
Yeah.
State. That's correct. Um, but I thought Louisville was a pretty quality team, so I really thought they were gonna pull this one out. You know, take it to overtime, end up losing there to Virginia, but it was close, respectable, not quite enough to boot Virginia out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you make it to OT, you did good. It just didn't fall your way. This is the way I pretty much look at it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But that's the recap of week 5. And before Chris starts us off with our first game pick of week 7 coming up here, I do want to let y'all know how week 5 and 6 worked out pick wise and where we're at in the overall standings. So in week 5, I went 11-5, Chris 12-4. So we picked up a game on me there. Similar in week 6, 11-4 for myself, 12-3 for Chris. So he picked up +1 there as well. Coming into those 2 weeks, he was 1 ahead of me, so he's now 3 ahead, sitting at 93-21 overall, myself at 90-24. Him hitting at about an 81% clip, myself 79. Not too shabby, Palm City Chucks.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's very nice. But yeah, let's get into week 7 play here. We have 24 ranked South Florida taking on North Texas. I went South Florida here, and it was an obvious choice for me. North Texas is favored in this.
This was not an obvious choice for me.
Why?
Because
Why is it not obvious, and why is North Texas favored? What did I miss? Was I in a
first off,
coma and I just woke up from, like, I don't know.
they're 5-0 and they haven't played complete scrubs. But okay, so I did looked. I'm in the pick'em league for college. You have to pick the spread and all that stuff. And I sat over this one the most out of any of the games this week trying to decide this. I ultimately went with South Florida myself. I do think they are the better team, even though they've got the 1 loss on the board compared to North
They also
Texas. Mean
beat
Green's
2
5-0.
ranked teams
They did.
and
They
lost
did.
to a ranked team by the
But
name of Miami, who's a legit team.
They have quite an offense, this North Texas team. Let me tell you, they really do. Their backs fantastic. They're doing a really good job. Quarterback is playing super well. Same conference as you in South Florida. American, I think.
Well, I know South Florida is. I don't even know if
Yeah.
North Texas is, but if
Yeah,
they're
no,
in the
North
same
Texas. They're in the
conference,
same
it's
conference. Yeah, they're in the
American.
same
Okay.
conference. Yeah, so American. And I'm telling you, I would not be surprised at all if North Texas pulls this out.
And that makes me feel a lot better that they're in the American Conference. I didn't think they were. Like, I literally thought this was like freaking like D2 school freaking playing like I don't know. But yeah, that does, sway me a bit, but I'm still happy to take South Florida here. Only one loss and it's to freaking Miami. But yeah, I did notice North Texas's offense was stellar. I just didn't realize it was American play. But yeah, they were rocking in the 50s. I think they had a 60 bop. Like they're definitely scoring and they are at home in this one.
Yeah, no, I did confirm, by the way, they are in the American Conference. So
Yeah.
better team
I
than you
should
think,
know that.
I think. But also, I mean, to be fair, I also barely heard of them before I saw them come up on our list this week to pick. So
Yeah. I should have known though. Temple's an American. But yeah, let's move on. SEC play, 8 ranked Alabama taking on 14 Missouri. I got Missouri here, and I don't like it.
uh you saying that makes me like I really wanted to go with Missouri really bad. Bo Pearl is playing really, really well for them. They're playing really, really well as a team. But Bama has just turned things
I
around.
know. They look really good lately.
So I ended up going Bama here because of that. I just think they've got too much momentum at this time for Missouri to overtake them, even though Missouri's at home.
Yeah.
I got
And
Bama here.
undefeated too. They're unscathed. But yeah, Bama certainly has kind of looked, like they've right the ship as of late. Um, yeah. I'm still going Mizzou. They're hot. They're home. And they're hot. I'm going to say it twice. Okay. Let's move on. We got Virginia Tech taking on 13 ranked Georgia Tech. I'm going Georgia Tech all day.
Yeah, the only reason like there was even a passing thought for Virginia Tech in my head was our good friend from the Slanted Attic
Yes,
experience, Mr. Tyler Julian, Virginia
I
Tech
know.
alum. But then my brain fixed itself and it was like, nah, you play the game to win. Georgia Tech all day.
Yes. Yes. Good job. Yeah, I Georgia Tech's like one of my favorite college teams, so they're always tough for me to pick against. And yeah, they're just certainly better. But it wouldn't be the most insane thing in the world for Virginia Tech to pull this off, but I'm certainly
No.
not picking it.
Yeah.
Um But yeah, let's move on. More SEC, 10 ranked Georgia taking on Auburn. Auburn can be pesky, but I'm going Georgia. Nice. Very nice. Next, we got more SEC, South Carolina taking on 11 ranked LSU. I'm going LSU here, but this game scares me and I'm not confident.
I did go South Carolina here. I
Yeah, but
think it's a breakout
great
game
pick.
for Lenora Sellers, to be honest.
This is a
He's
good
been,
pick.
yeah, he is. And so I just think that he's going to do enough this game. I think it's going to be close. I really, really do, especially with LSU being at home. But I think South Carolina is going to edge it out. I think they're going to have superior quarterback play. Nussmeier's looked pretty decent this year. It's not to say he's been bad, but I just really think that Sellers is going to be the superior quarterback on Saturday, and I think he's probably the better one overall.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have him as QB1 in college football so far this season. So, yeah, certainly no joke. But I got to roll my Tigers, man. But like I said, don't like it. Great shout from you. I mean, could totally see that upset here. And what the hell's the spread, too? I'm pretty sure LSU's like 10, favored by 10 or something
Yeah, that
stupid.
was
I'm like, I don't
ridiculous.
see that at all. This is going to be a nail biter for me anyway. You'll be happy to just watch a good football game. No stress.
Yeah. Hey, all my stress is gone. So
Must be nice. Must be nice. Next, let's move on to a humdinger here. Two ranked opponents in the top 10 ski of the Big Ten. 7 ranked Indiana taking on 3 Oregon. I struggled with this one a lot, but ended up going with Oregon. I pansied out. What can I say?
Yeah, I also had to think about this one quite a bit. I ended up going Oregon as well. What really had me thinking about this was Oregon barely beat this shitty ass Penn State team. So that made me really think, do I want to go with
It's a
Indiana
great
here?
team, AJ. They just broke your heart. It's a good Penn State team. Oh, goodness. We got more Big Ten. We have 1 seed, 1 rank, whatever you want to say. Ohio State versus 17 Illinois. I went Ohio State, but I hope I'm wrong.
I also went Ohio State. I also hope I'm wrong for the reasons I mentioned when we were talking about Illinois. In the week 6 recap is I their defense is looking questionable, letting up 27 to Purdue. Go and play Ohio State. Some may say a slightly higher quality college football team. Opinions may vary. Um, so I got Ohio State here.
Next, we have Florida State, who is at home, taking on Pitt. They managed to stay in the top 25 here, even after their loss last week. And I'm rolling with them here. I think they, right the ship. You got to bounce back after that loss.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got Florida State as well. Kind of surprised they stuck in the top 25. Just
I
barely
am
though
too.
at
Yeah,
85. They did
yeah,
stick,
hanging on.
but I got
But
Florida State and eat shit Pitt.
yeah, Pitt not bad though. Uh, could make some noise here, but yeah, I don't really see it. Not sure of who Pitt has played. I just know the record's solid. And Florida State, we know they've already faced some legit ass opponents, so I'm definitely going Florida State. Next, we have Washington State taking on 4 ranked Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Let's move on. Yeah, nothing to say there. 6 ranked Oklahoma taking on Texas. Good old rivalry. 2 great teams. Oh, wait, one freaking sucks. And one I thought kind of sucked, and they don't suck. And that's the matchup here. I'm going Oklahoma. Texas, like, you need to do something for me to ever pick your ass again.
Yeah, honestly, that's the logic, and the reason I ultimately went with Oklahoma here. That is the reason for sure. But I would not be surprised if this is the game that Texas decides to show up. Major rivalry here. Texas is the home team. If Oklahoma gets Mateer back, I think that changes the equation, and I think they'll win no matter what. But if they still have to go with their backup, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game that Texas wins just out of nowhere for no reason at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, rivalries do that. We know that all too well. But even so even if Texas wins, they're not excused for me. This is
Oh,
just
I
chalked
agree.
up as fluky.
It'll probably
Next,
get them
we,
back in the top 25, though.
ah, watch your mouth. Um, Next, we have Notre Dame and their ridiculously tough schedule. They're now ranked 16, and they're at home against NC State, one of the best teams in the nation. I'm being sarcastic. What the hell is this game? Notre Dame's going to win. Sad face.
Yep. I also got Notre Dame. Extra sad face.
Yes. Next, we have Happy Face because we have 22 ranked Iowa State taking on Colorado, and Iowa State's going to win this game.
I
Happy.
also have Iowa State winning this game. There may be some bias here based on what we were talking about, hatred for Colorado. But I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado pulls this one out. But I went
I
on
would.
Iowa
I
State
actually
and I
would.
want to win.
I actually would be surprised there. The bar is very low. And yeah, I could be blinded by a little bit of hatred. I tend to let that get in the way. But yeah, I'm rolling Iowa State here. Next, we have Arkansas taking on 12 ranked Tennessee. More SEC fun. Arkansas kind of letting me down so far. I was gassing them up a bit a few weeks ago, and now they're sitting at 2-3, I believe. and they're going to drop another one because I got the Vols here.
Yeah, I also got the Vols here, and you really took the words right out of my mouth. They were looking pretty solid at the beginning of the year, but these last couple weeks, they have looked terrible. Absolutely awful. That thrashing they took to Notre Dame was embarrassing.
It was.
Embarrassing. What are we
It
doing
was.
here? Come on.
Yeah, they're packing it in. Yeah, it's like they want the first pick in the draft or something, and it's Arkansas's confused. Uh, Next, we have Florida, and they continue their ridiculous schedule. They go to A&M, who's now ranked 5th, by the way. I'm going A&M. Florida, amazingly impressive win last week. Thank you, by the way. Love that I called it. It's hot. But you're not beating 2 top 10 ranked teams in back-to-back weeks. I just don't see it, even though one of them was Texas, which is kind of crap and not top 10.
Yeah. If this game's at Florida, I'm going Florida. I think 5 is an overrank for Texas A&M. I
Yeah,
I
I'd
do
agree.
not. They are the 5th best team in the nation. Top 15 for sure. I think probably 10 to 12 is where I would slot them in. Maybe you get away with like 8, 9. I could buy that, but 5, absolutely not. But this week at Kyle Field, talked about it earlier, really tough place to play. So I went Texas A&M here.
Yeah. And kind of to like what I was saying earlier too, like these seeds, if it did end today, how spicy it would be for playoffs and all that. But that's why football is a long season and things need to kind of correct themselves. I mean, some of these teams don't have a blemish yet, and some of them weren't ever going to have a blemish based on who they've played. But it's starting to ramp up, and it's certainly not going to be an easy game for A&M. I just think more on the flip side of like how historical that would be for Florida to beat 2 top 10 teams back to back weeks while being unranked. Like it sounds too crazy to go with it, but that's gonna be a tough game, and they could definitely do it. I don't like that they're away either. Like you mentioned earlier, A&M, amazing home field advantage for them, and yeah, if this was at Florida, I maybe feel a little different about it, but still would be historical if they pull it off.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope they do. Honestly, at this point, I do.
I
It's
don't.
it's fun to
I
see
hate
Giants
Florida.
fall.
I hate Florida. I felt gross even picking them last week. Like I'm actually glad we didn't film because I didn't want that out in the world. I really didn't. Which I
The
shouldn't
real
have brought it
reason,
up. Damn it. I just put it out.
the real reason we didn't film, folks. Chris did not want to talk about the fact he picked Florida and was correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not happy about it. Well, I am. I picked up a point. We're too competitive, but whatever. Let's move on. We got Kansas taking on 9 ranked Texas Tech. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're both going Texas Tech here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Next we have 15 ranked Michigan. They just keep getting that nice rating there. Down to 15 now. They're going to USC. I'm going USC.
I also went USC here at the
It's
Coliseum.
time.
It is time.
It's
It is
time.
seriously time. If this Michigan team sneaks into like the Big Ten championship or the playoffs, man, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be livid, livid. They are a terrible football team. Like they are not good. They are simply not good. Bryce Underwood has not looked good this year. They have one player on offense, Justice Haynes. Good for you. Good for you. That's it.
Yeah.
Lose, please. I want to be
But
done talking about you.
we know that just having a good ass running back can get you so far, especially when you're frickin' Michigan.
Yes, yes, but
Will
let's go
teams
USC.
adjust? Yeah. Yeah, let's go,
Stack the
honestly.
box, please. 8 in the box. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
All 11. Stuff them in there. But yeah, let's move on. 18 ranked BYU is going to Arizona. We kind of mentioned this earlier in recapping BYU's game last week. Yeah, it steps up a notch here. Arizona is a good team, one loss team, 4-1, not bad, nothing to bat an eye at. They are at home. I am still going BYU, but another one. There's been quite a few on this week where I'm not feeling so confident.
I also went BYU here and feeling the same. I was very, very tempted to go
Yeah,
Arizona here.
yeah, very tempting. Next, we got Arizona State, ranked 21, taking on Utah. Now, we mentioned this in the past. I kind of have a love thing going on for Utah. Always really liked them. But I've also liked the Sun Devils too. I like a lot of teams. I'm messed up. But yeah, I'm going Arizona State here. The main reason, which again, you're just kind of figuring out teams, how good are they actually, and it's very difficult. I go back to that Texas Tech Utah game. They got destroyed. Now, is Texas Tech just an amazing team? Maybe. Or maybe Utah's not what I thought they were. And that's where I'm leaning, and that's why I went Arizona State.
Yeah, I also went Arizona State here. I'm getting less convinced by Utah as time passes. Arizona State is playing very well. Even though they are traveling to Utah here, I think they will pull this one out.
All right. Well, I feel pretty good about that. A lot of the ones I'm very shaky on, we went the same way, which is good. Yeah. Yeah. It's down to the SEC games, which, yeah, both should be humdingers. Could certainly see both of them going either way. I mean, gun to my head, I think probably Bama and LSU win, but there isn't a gun to my head, so I'm going Mizzou, baby.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, I just want to let you know before we wrap this one up, the podcast folks here, I am still going to talk about Penn State a little bit every week. It's going to happen, mostly because I want to complain. Just fair enough. I want you guys are going to be who I vent to, just so you know.
Well, yeah, 100%. And same goes for LSU if they drop out, which could definitely happen. Maybe after this week. Who knows?
I don't know. That'd be a pretty big fall. SEC team there. South Carolina, not complete trash. I think if they lose, they probably go to like 21, 22, something like that.
Ugh. Just take us out. I don't want to see a number that high.
So you'd rather see no number at all, huh?
And then we could maybe sneak up on somebody. You don't sneak up with a 22 ranking. You just don't. You go, oh, okay, they're legit, and then you get your asses kicked, and then you're out, and then you can sneak.
That's fair point. Fair point. But that wraps up our college episode here. We appreciate you all for listening in. We hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think, and we'll be back at you next week.
Later, PCC!